Some men went to the balcony trying to negotiate for the life of their wives and girlfriends. But after hearing a series of gunshots, police stormed the concert hall. They went inside. They killed all 3 suspects. At least 118 people were killed inside the concert hall. Continuing coverage from the breaking news desk as well as Fox News Channel. Now back to Shepard Smith.
Trace, thank you. As we were reporting live earlier, we learned sort of together, well, we knew that there were a lot of Americans there. We knew that there were a lot of Americans in that stadium. And we learned sort of together that our own Geraldo Rivera's daughter was in that stadium and heard the explosion. His daughter, Simone. And Geraldo's live with us yet again now. How's she doing?
Hi, Shep. I think she's on the phone now. Are you there, sweetheart?
Yes, I'm here.
We're with Shepard Smith. We're live, and so many people were so worried about you, honey. Why don't you just tell us what you saw? Tell us, first of all, you're at the game, the soccer game. Did you know the president of France was at the game?
No, I didn't know the president was there. And before halftime, we all hear a very loud kind of explosive sound. But no one seemed to make any, seem worried about it or anything, except for the fellow New Yorkers by my side. But we just brushed it off as nothing. And then at halftime, we went to get food, and we saw they wouldn't let anyone leave the stadium at that point, and they weren't telling us anything, and they just had a bunch of ambulances and people just in uniform starting to look very nervous, but they wouldn't tell us anything until we just went back in, and we heard 2 more explosive sounds. But again, no one expressed any concern, and they didn't tell us the president was there, what was going on. And then my friend Isabel was sitting next to me, and she keeps getting calls from her mom back in the States and tells us that there's a terrorist attack happening throughout Paris. And then we try to leave, and there were teams of SWAT barricading everyone. It looked like people in bomb outfits and just preparing for everything, and no one would tell us what to do. They were just herding us like sheep, and we were all freaking out. And then there was one point where we break away, and there's just a swarm of people running at us, and we just all start running in this direction, not knowing where to go. And then all the police officers were there with their guns ready. And I don't know what happened there, but then we were all just stuck in this area in St. Denis, and we were stuck there for 4 hours because there was a blockade, a perimeter around the stadium. And I didn't know there were other attacks until you told me, and I saw on the TV that there was the concert.
Tell us how you're feeling, honey. How are you feeling right now?
I'm shaking still. Yeah, that was probably the scariest thing I ever had to deal with. They're speaking, and we don't speak French, so that all the police officers couldn't help us, and we didn't know what to do. And thank God it's God service. There should be contact you, but yeah, and we're all just freaking out. And we tried to get a room at a hotel nearby, but they locked their doors, wouldn't let anyone in. And then finally, we found a store that let people in.
The hotel was locked. You tried to get into the hotel and it was locked.
Yeah, we went and we just asked if we could stay in the lobby, and they said no, and then they locked the door.
And then how scary was it to be stranded there, to not be able to take a metro? They closed the metro, no cabs,
yeah.
No Uber, no nothing?
At first, we were planning on walking home before we knew there were any other attacks, and it's like a 4.5-hour walk. And we just were walking. We didn't know the neighborhood, but we thought that'd be a better idea. And then people started telling us that they were, the military was coming in, and it was a state of emergency, that we couldn't walk. So we had to walk back to the stadium area, and then we were just stuck there until your friend came and got us.
Do you want to come home, honey?
I do. I want to come home.
I'm going to come get you tomorrow.
Well, I don't know if I can go home when the borders are shut, aren't they?
I know the borders are shut, the airports are shut. We had a plane waiting for us tomorrow morning, but they said the Paris airspace is closed. But I'm sure that they'll get around to it. It's so scary. The attacks were so widespread. So many people are dead. And
Yeah.
So it was like, you know what it was like for us here. You know, so many people knew that you were there, and so many people were so concerned about you. And
And my phone, I only had my friend's phone. Thank God Isabel had her phone. I couldn't even reach Mom.
I know, honey. Shepard's been covering it all night. Shep, you have any witness questions for me?
I just wonder when people first started flooding out of that stadium, what it was like, Simone. Was there a panic, or were people confused, or what was it?
At first, people were confused, and then when we saw all the what looked like the French equivalent of their SWAT, then people started getting panicked, and then people started running, and there was a bunch of little kids there, and you just see all these parents, like, just not knowing what was happening, just picking up their little kids and just running in every direction, not knowing where to go. And then ultimately it calmed down after like an hour and a half, I guess. But I don't know how people got out of there, but they shut down everything.
A million stories about how people did get out. And Simone, while you're with us, I'll tell you that we've just gotten a dispatch from French authorities, and Geraldo, they don't know how many, but French authorities have just sent out a bulletin that a number of armed terrorists are on the loose somewhere.
Oh, honey, don't go out. Whatever you do, don't go outside. Don't go outside. Don't talk to any strangers. Just stay right where you are. You stay right where you. Make sure the phone is charged. You got to make sure the phone is charged.
I'm not planning on leaving.
And the doors are locked and everything else, you know.
You have to figure that this initial thing was coordinated, and what authorities never have a way to know is if there's a second thing coordinated. And I don't think that, from what we've gotten from French authorities, they don't know. The simplicity of the dispatch is unknown number of terrorists still on the run.
You know, I said earlier, Shep, when we first had the news, and I was reacting more as an emotional dad than as a reporter, that I thought that this was France's 9/11. The more Catherine Herridge and you report the scope of these coordinated attacks, is it 4 locations now? They figure a couple of dozen of these attackers.
6 locations.
6 locations. So how, first of all, I got a text from Bernie Carrick, the former police commissioner, a dear friend of mine, who said, what a colossal failure of intelligence that something of this magnitude. This is a major, major operation involving perhaps scores of terrorists. How could it be that could be coordinated and no one in the vaunted French intelligence service even picked up a whisper? No one in the CIA picking up a whisper of this gigantic attack. I mean, particularly with the fall of the town between Mosul and Raqqa, I forget the name of it, and then the death of Jihadi John. We were feeling pretty filled with ourselves a few hours ago. We had them on the run, and now they strike in this coordinated fashion. Obviously, this was planned long before.
Think of it this morning, the President of the United States on Good Morning America with George Stephanopoulos, that ISIS are contained.
Contained, and I'm telling you, everybody's making fun of Donald Trump, bomb the shat out of them, is what his plan is. It is time for half measures with ISIS. This is an editorial. Time for half measures with ISIS are over. This is so close to home now. Paris is next door to us, and it's like the United States, an open society. Now that openness has been taken advantage of by ruthless murderers who have wreaked havoc, we don't know how many are dead yet, how many are wounded. It's always worse than you hear it is, when all is said and done, and the death toll. And imagine the terror inside that theater. I first thought, Simone, that you were at that rock theater.
So did Mom. She said there's no way that I'd be at a soccer game.
Not with the concert ongoing.
With that band, a band that you probably know, Sam. But, thank God you weren't there. The way they butchered those people one after the other. These are savages that cannot be ignored nor contained. They have to be destroyed. And the United States has to recognize, as unsavory as it is, I've been covering this damn war for 14 years. I don't want to go back, but it's either them or us. It's ISIS or us.
We must stop Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. Not to do so could risk a mushroom cloud. Yellow cake from Niger. We must. Well, we did. Now, on the heels of what has happened today, we must go. And yet, the first thing we ever learned about ISIS is ISIS said, we want your troops on the ground here. We want to fight you. For if we fight you, we win. Because all we have to do is fight you to get all the troops from all over the world to come and join in the caliphate. These decisions are ones not to be made on in the heat of the moment. In fact, this quote just from the concert hall, Bataclan, the French president, Francois Hollande, has gone to the concert hall where at least 118 people have been murdered. And he said, and I quote, to all those who have seen these awful things, I want to say we are going to lead a war which will be pitiless. Because when terrorists are capable of committing such atrocities, they must be certain that they are facing a determined France, a united France, a France that is together and does not let itself be moved. Even if today we express infinite sorrow, so where are we?